It's time for the fourth Matchbox Challenge kit. I don't know what it is yet. Find out with me right here on Gary's Stuff. Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back. If you've been here before, now today is reveal day on the fourth of the Matchbox Challenge kits. Now, channel supporter Simon John sends me from time to time a Matchbox kit. These were kits made in like the 70s and 80s as an alternative to what Ethics had to offer. They were interesting mouldings of their time, but they tend to be quite interesting kits as well. Sometimes a very unusual subjects. Anyway, he sends me the kits. I never know what they are. All I know is I will make everything he sends to me. So far, we've had a Hunter T7, we've had a Swordfish, we've had a Chinook. So what can it be today? Now, if you like the show, and I hope you do, please do remember the best way to support the channel, if you'd like to do so, doesn't cost you anything. That is to subscribe. If you also then hit the bell, you'll be notified of all my future content as it is published on the channel. And of course, anything you like on my channel, please give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. And if you would like to make a more concrete contribution to the channel, you can do that through any of my partner programs, details of which are in the information box below. So let's get on then and have a look inside this package, see what is the fourth Matchbox Challenge kit from Simon John. All right, let's see what's inside this box. A bit more rigidly packed than some of the others have been. And see, sometimes you have to like rely on other people delivering stuff so that you can get a decent box off them. No, I have to do that. There we go. There we go. Simon's Matchbox Challenge again. Excellent. Smaller kit. Let's see what's in here. Between Simon and Nick of Nick's Mystery Boxes, it's like Christmas and birthdays every day with them. It's fantastic fun. I do hope you enjoy these videos as well, where we find out what they got to send from me, because sometimes you think, I've got to build that now. And sometimes you think, oh, wow, amazing. So, what is it this time? Oh, how about that? 1/72nd scale A10A in 3 colours. Oh, that's fantastic. I like the A10. This is going to be fun. Okay, let's see what we get inside the box. Okay, let's open it. It's still got cellophane on it, which is very impressive. Right. Usual, yeah, it's kind of nice box art they used to have in it with Matchbox. You know, that's not bad at all. And considering this would have actually been like properly painted, not digital stuff, this is actually a proper acrylic painting probably. There's a picture on the side of what it looks like just with the bare plastic. It comes in 3 different colours of plastic. On this side it says it is skill level 2, which is fairly straightforward. 1983, made and printed in England. Very interesting. Cement and paint not included. Interestingly, these are for the A10A prototypes and pre-production aircraft, and that's really cool. We don't tend to see that sort of thing very often now. This normally, if this is a major, not a kit made today, it would be from a specific squadron or something like that. This is a prototype. I remember seeing these. I remember very sadly seeing one of these crash at Paris. It was in 1977, I guess. Yeah, 77. There was a crash at Paris, I seem to remember. It's the same year that Elvis Presley died as well. something that sticks in my mind. Okay, the aircraft, when it's complete, is 225 millimeters long, 235 wide, and stands 66 millimeters tall. Same size for the pre-production aircraft here. Okay, let's have a look inside the box at what we've got. Okay, so you have the plastic frames. One fin has come off the frame, but that's not the end of the world. 3 plastic frames in white, pale grey and dark grey. There's a plastic frame for the canopy, which is a little bit knocked up, but we can clean that up. There's a decal sheet, which has definitely seen better days. And there's the instruction sheet here. Let's have a look at all these bits and pieces in more detail. So the first frame contains the fuselage, 2 halves of the fuselage, 2 engine pods. This is the tail unit here. The next colour of grey has the outer wing panels, tail planes. These are parts of the undercarriage pods on the wings, the wheels, a few bits and pieces, and a pilot. Actually, nice pilot, and a seat as well. Seat doesn't look very much like an ejection seat, but what you want. Then in white plastic, there's the inner portions of the wings with the undercarriages. There's the tail fins, obviously, got that, undercarriage, legs, bombs, fuel tanks, and the fans from the engine. And as I said earlier, a single piece for the windshield and canopy. As I've mentioned before with Matchbox kits, the panel lining is recessed, but it's quite big, quite chunky, not very refined. Plastic has got some flow marks on it, but nothing that actually touches, makes a difference to the surface, which is quite cool. The actual parts are reasonably well molded. It's just that they're not that sharp to begin with, if you see what I mean. Not stunningly sharp, but that's the way they're designed. The wingtip has got the little downward swash, almost like a mini winglet. That's pre-molded in, so that's a single piece molding. What is cool is the pilot. That's his pilot figure. How nicely that's molded. That's actually really good. Very, very strange. So of that level of design on the pilot, and look at the seat, the ejection seat. It's got nothing there to suggest it's an ejection seat at all. It's really strange that this is so basic, and yet this pilot is actually really nicely modelled. I mean, look at that. Oxygen hose has got all the crinkles in it. It's quite a surprise. And right next to it, there's a wing, and look how sort of big and rounded the scribing is on these parts. I mean, I don't know whether I presume they mill this down and leave those lines sitting up from the surface, so when they mold it, they're recessed. And maybe they just couldn't machine them with that much accuracy that they would be anything else than this back in those days. I don't know. I do know that a lot of kits that you see from Matchbox and Revell and all that from that era, recessed lines are a lot chunkier than lines that are in relief. Because, of course, all we have to do is scribe the inside of the mould for relief lines, whereas the line that denotes where these are has to actually sit up from the surface of the mould. So maybe that's a lot more difficult to make. Certainly things like the fan blades are, again, they're reasonably well moulded. It's just they're not designed very well. The bombs are single piece bombs, which is always good to do because I wouldn't like to have put these together in halves. They're a bit misformed here. You can see there's a touch of misshaping here. Again, it could be the actual design rather than anything else, or it could just be the heat of the moulding not being quite right. Yeah. Again, the nose gear is relatively basic, but it's by design, not by fault of manufacture. On the undercarriage legs, you're getting a little bit more of a sort of hint of a mould line. Don't see very many mould lines on here though, which is really quite impressive. And again, the main fuselage really is just sort of very crude lines here, quite deep panel lines on everything. But nice enough. I don't know if that's. I can't feel anything there. We'll wait until that's been primed and we'll be able to see if there's any issue there from that. Again, they're not brilliant molds, but they've molded well with what they had to begin with, I think. Clean enough anyway. As you can see, the decals are looking a little old. Surface issues on them. The printing in those days, the carrier film was very large compared to the size of the decal, which caused its own problems, of course. The registration is okay, I would say. It's not exactly spot on, but it's okay. It's better than others, although I'm not entirely convinced by the yellow. We need to have a bit of a closer look. The red is almost registered with the dark blue, almost. But let's have a closer look and see what the sharpness is like. Yeah, as you can see, it's that sort of almost but not quite registration as it sort of sits slightly outside of the black lines, so it's not absolutely spot on. The reds, they look okay. The white, the ejection seat marking is it's readable at least. I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse. They're not bad for their age. They're not bad, I guess. You can see here that the red bar is very slightly out of register with the dark blue, but it's not the end of the world. If it comes to it, I'm sure I can find some other ones that are a bit like that. This is a bit messy here. I don't know what that is, whether that's something's happened in the past and sort of scraped along that and whatever, but that might be something I need to replace. I'll have a look later. Although, if you do it in the pre-production aircraft, which is this one, then you don't need any of that. And then finally, the instruction booklet, sort of very high-key reproduction of the cover art here, very high contrast. Inside are the instructions on this fold-out. Relatively simple. There's not a lot to this kit, to be honest with you. Relatively straightforward. The gun doesn't look as big and butch as it is in real life, but that's kind of a strange thing. In here we have the colours with Humbrol this time, Humbrol references. And here the paint details of some of the small parts like the pilot and so on and so forth. Okay, there we go. As I said earlier, I love an A10 and it will be fun to build. I'll get some modern decals for it. I think I'll actually paint it up as one of the prototype aircraft. Now, if you'd like to see that being done, best thing to do is to make sure you've subscribed to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you also hit the bell, you'll be notified of all my future content as it's published, including the build of this kit. And of course, anything you see on my channel that you actually like, please do remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up on that like button below, because every like counts. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Hope to see you on the channel very soon. Take good care now, and goodbye.